What up, y'all? Welcome. Sorry for the late start. San Miguel TV here, and my name is San Miguel. I want to give a shout out to those that show me love and support. I want to give a shout out to the Hebrew Israelites for constantly blessing me with entertaining content that never fails. Never fails to amuse and such things. So, anyways, it's May 4th, 2025, Sunday. A lot of things happening. Mainly want to talk about this whole Arsareth being America thing, and that the 10 tribes supposedly came across the Pacific or the Atlantic. Nobody really knows with the Hebrew Israelites. And made it to the Americas, and now are the remnants of the 12 tribes of Israel are supposedly Mexicans and Peruvians and Guatemalans and all this off the wall, real far out stuff. When it comes to the Hebrew Israelites, I'm constantly challenging them, and I want to have these conversations with them. And I think that because they know that I'm not a Christian, because they'll start asking me. They want to get the easy out, as they say in baseball, the easy debate. Hebrew Israelites want to get a Christian that doesn't know, that believes in the Bible. So that way, when you start showing them the Bible, they can't deny it because they already believe in it. See, with me, they don't know what to do with me. So it becomes a harder debate. And that's why you rarely see these guys come on, even though I'm constantly trying to set something up. Like, you see me now, this is like the fourth live, maybe the fifth one altogether, the second or third one in a row, maybe the second one in a row, where Hebrew Israelites challenging me, and we're going back and forth on Facebook for hours. And then when I'm like, come on my live stream, I'm about to go live, I'm just sitting waiting and waiting. When they just spent hours commenting back and forth, they respond immediately. Sometimes when I drop a message, they'll respond like immediately. And then when it comes time for them to go live, the Hebrew Israelites, where are you at? Kataza didn't realize who I was when he invited me on his channel or whatever on the ISUPK platform. Captain Kataza of the ISUPK is one of the biggest bitches out here that he would not debate me. He kicks me off the live every time. He doesn't answer questions. He'll tell me he's going to send me something in an email, which he never did. Of course he never did. That was his way of getting around having to answer for the lost Luna's Decalogue stone, for the Father Nazario stones, and anything else that they want to claim that's Hebrew, that's found in the Americas, that has really no real connection to the Native Americans. For the archaeology that's found that does have some Hebrew in it, you could date it to the 1600s or 1700s, when there were already crypto Jews in the Americas. From Spain, trying to flee the persecution. They're always trying to hide or run away from somebody that's trying to destroy them, whether they're in Spain or whether they're in Portugal or in Argentina. Like, there's always been persecution towards the Jews. Even today, you can see that Jews are hated by all races. Like, all races have this collective hatred for Jewish people, and they think that there's always a conspiracy where they're trying to, take over the world and manipulate the entertainment industry and Hollywood and all this stuff. And it's like you find Jewish people in all of these walks of life, and they succeed and excel. And the the mean or the reason behind that is always, oh, it's because they're evil or they're some diabolic, like they have some demonic way of getting themselves into the high places, in on this earth, which is like also shared by black people. You have black executives all throughout the industry, that partner up with Jewish people. This is like, who are we really blaming? Why is it that everything has to be like a racial thing where you try to tie things to a race with the Hebrew Israelites? That shit is coming to an end, man. There's no way that you can use a scripture like Deuteronomy 28 to describe or to find somebody's genetic makeup. You try to use a scripture to try to find who the Israelites are today. That's stupid ass way of trying to come to an actual conclusion, a right conclusion. You want to come to the right conclusion, you're going to use a prophecy or a scripture, or an interpretation of a scripture, as some type of way of coming to a conclusion of somebody's genetics. Because, oh, the Bible talks about Deuteronomy 28:68, slavery on ships. This must be talking about blacks, and everybody that's gone into slavery on ships has to be an Israelite. It's stupid. That's not how you determine genetics. What's good, combat conversation? What's popping? Welcome, welcome, man. Welcome back. Good friend right here, former Hebrew Israelite of the ICGJC or Baltimore. But yeah, it's a wild fucking time we living in when it comes to this racial stuff. Like, it's everywhere. It's not just found in the Hebrew Israelite community. But you could see them do what a lot of these other groups do that use race constantly to push an agenda. This is how they try to get you on their team by saying, "Yo, we're black. I'm black just like you. Don't you hate the white man? Man, we should join up." That's what they do. And look, what the scripture says, the white man is going to mistreat. The scripture says it calls them Esau, but they're really the white man because nobody's white walking around the earth. They're really red. And the scripture tells you clearly that they're red all over like a hairy garment. That means that they had hair all over the goddamn place. This was a hairy ass baby. That's what was strange about the baby, because it was hairy, and they pointed out red because red is supposed to symbolize, colors symbolize things in the Bible all the time. So they were trying to symbolize that Esau was evil because he was red. These niggas are crazy, because you also find in the Bible where the word Adam means from the red earth. It comes from the word uh, Adam, or Adawan, which actually means red. That's how you say East. That's how you say Edom. Edom is pronounced just like Adam. Edom, Adam. It's the same fucking word. It means the same thing. And that's why you have scriptures where it talks about King David. It says King David was what? What's the word that it says? It says he was what's the word? I forget. That means red, ruddy. Yeah, there you go, ruddy. It says King David was ruddy, but now red doesn't mean red, and oh, black people can be red. Well, can't Esau be a black red person then? Like, I don't understand. They say black people are red. It's called copper tone. Okay, then what was Esau? How you saying he's a white man when you yourself just finished saying that the word that nobody's white? But when you look at like the 10 tribes and Arsareth and all of this, they try to connect the 10 lost tribes with the Native Americans, the Hispanics, from Mexicans to Peruvians to even the Inuit, the Inuit people all the way up in Alaska and in Iceland and Greenland and all of that. They're all up in there. They say that even those people are Israelites because technically, guess what? Alaska is America. So if they say Gad are the North American Indians, guess what? Alaska is in North America. Canada is North America. What are you, retarded? These cats are crazy. Then you can't deny, if you want to go all the way up to Alaska, now why are you denying that the natives that came through Alaska came from Siberia? Where the hell does it ever say that these cats are Hebrew Israelites? They've been here before 720 BC. There have been people in the Americas from north to central to south to the American Caribbean, the Caribbean islands. There have been people there way before 720 BC. My friends, how the hell do you get 720 BC, such a short time span just in America, with all the vast history that you have in the world, in Peru, in Chile, where they found evidence of life in Chile going back like 20,000 years, and there's a connection to the natives and Polynesian. Some Polynesian DNA is found in Peru and in South America, because history is not so black and white. How Hebrew Israelites try to make it seem like, oh, if you're Dominican, you're a Simeonite. Like it's so black and white. That's not how it works. It's not so simple. Or you're Puerto Rican, you must be an Ephraimite. That's not how it works, man. First of all, when we talk about genetics, things change. There's genetic drift. There's time that passes by. There's genetic mutation. There's things that change your whole genetic makeup, and that could happen within a few hundred years. We've seen that even with some animals and some fish. There are fish that you see at the bottom of the ocean that actually don't even swim. They walk around and they have fins that are like hands. They're not fused. They're not fused fins. They're like, well, actually they are fused, but they don't use them to swim. It's very, very strange what we have out here. Shit is not so easily explained by just, oh, a God created everything and the Bible is the answer to all things. Y'all, people that think that way, they want to find an easy answer to cover things, and they don't want to have to think, and they don't want to have to maybe not know something and admit that they don't know something. That's one of the hardest things to get a motherfucker to do, is to admit that they were wrong about something, It's like pulling teeth with people. That's why till this day you still have people that have believed that there was a year 2000 prophecy that Jesus Christ was going to come back, and it didn't happen, and they still remain Hebrew Israelites. They don't find a problem with the doctrine overall. They just say, no, it's just that one thing. There's a problem with the whole Hebrew Israelite doctrine. From, I don't care if you're Captain Cesariak and ISUPK, Captain Katzazar, or IUIC with Nathaniel, or Johanna and ISUPK, or whoever the hell's running the ICGJC, because I think Ariya's dead. Nobody knows. And Ariyah was the one that created this whole 12 tribes chart. And there were people like Yeshaya and other people who chimed in and gave a history and tried to explain away how the hell the 10 tribes are the Native Americans and how they made it to America. When the scriptures in Second Ezra tells you that they went through a country for a year and a half. And then the Jewish encyclopedia that they use, the reference that's used, they use the Jewish encyclopedia, which uses a reference that's not even there. Whatever they say that the reference says, it doesn't even say it when you go to the actual reference and check the page for yourself. But a lot of these fucking Hebrew Israelites are stupid. They're like babies. They need everything to be hand fed and spoon fed to them. So all they do is Google Arsareth. And guess what? One of the first things that comes up, the Jewish Encyclopedia says that Columbus identified this land with America. Page 15 in Meyer Kaseling's book and C. Gross's book of the Spanish influence or the Jewish influence in Spain. Go get that fucking book and read the page that they say that it tells you that Columbus identified Arsareth with America. It's not fucking there. They're lying to your asses. And these are some woke ass motherfuckers that think they're spiritually connected with all things. These motherfuckers don't know what the fuck's the next thing to happen on earth. If they did, they would be preparing and getting you ready for these things. They would have prepared for what happened to them when they went to Kenya, when they got their asses kicked out of Kenya, because they realized that you got so much privilege in this country. You can't talk the way that you talk here, the way that you be yelling out in the streets and screaming and condemning people to hell and slavery and death. You're not gonna get away with that shit in a country like Nigeria. They're gonna fucking chop your head off if you start talking like that. You're lucky that you're in fucking America where the cops handle your ass with gloves. And y'all wanna cry, oh, police brutality all the fucking time. When you're the ones that ask for this shit. You fucking constantly, and these are black Hebrew Israelites, man. I've seen this shit happen with them too. They want to be a sovereign citizen sometimes. They don't want to obey the law. They think that they're above the law. These are fucking narcissistic sociopaths. Most of these Hebrew Israelites are narcissistic sociopaths. You can see it in the way they talk, the way they act, how they feel they don't have to respond to you. These cats will go hours on Facebook, fucking type. They're what do you call it? Um, fucking what do you call them? Keyboard warriors. There you go. They'll jump on the keyboard on computer and go ham on you. When it comes time for them to go live and actually talk and do a real time debate where I can actually answer your questions and follow up in real time, not where I type a comment and then you just fucking ignore what I said and you can just fucking ask me a question. Because I don't mind answering questions. I do it all the time. Sometimes I ask these cats a question and they'll answer with a question and I'll answer it just because I'm not as fucking scared as they are to answer a question. And now I'm on the defense when they're the ones that claim to be connected to the Most High, and they're the ones that should have all the answers. Why are you asking me about where's Arsareth? Shouldn't you know? Now, when we start testing you, when you make the claim that America's Arsareth, and nobody knows where the fuck Arsareth is because there's probably not even an actual fucking place. You want to say, well, if you don't know where Arsareth is, then you can't say it's not America. That's not true. We can know that someone is not the murderer. We can know a murder happened, and we can know someone is not the murderer, but we know that it was a murder that happened. If we know it was a murder that happened. Because some people will say, well, what if it was a suicide? But let's say we know that it's a murder that happened. That's what fucking cops are trying to do. Well, sometimes it's a suicide. We're talking about we know it's a murder. We know it's a murder. We don't know who the murderer is, but we can rule out certain people. That's what I'm doing with Arsareth. You can rule out America. You don't have to know. There's probably not even a place called Arsareth. Just because the Apocrypha says that the 10 tribes went to a place called Arsareth. Now you want to go look for it based on the assumption that the Bible is everything in the Bible is true. Like who somebody fucking lied to you, and now you're trying to find something that connects to Arsareth, and you found America, and it doesn't connect because you can go back to 720 BC in America, and you can find Mayan kingdoms, the Olmecs. You can find the Aztecs. You can find the Mayan alphabet that was already in practice. This is literature. This is a written language that you can find in Central America that has no connection to Hebrew. How the fuck can Mexicans be Hebrew Israelites? That shit makes no goddamn sense. And how do you say that Mexicans are Hebrew Israelites and Haitians are Hebrew Israelites too? How do you make that connection, yo? I'm telling you, that's why these Hebrew Israelites won't go live with me because I'm not a fucking Christian one of these soft ass Christians that don't even know the Bible. Christians don't even fucking know the Bible. They claim they fucking know God. I have a personal relationship with Jesus. They don't know fucking scriptures. They can't even tell you how many books are in the Bible. And they want to debate. That's why these Hebrew Israelites, they don't debate me. They go to fucking Christians and they try to make a fool out of them because most Christians don't know the Bible. But because they know I'm a former Hebrew Israelite, I don't fucking play that shit. You ain't gonna pull that on me. That's that shit that they pull on these Christians. Because Christians would be like, well, God loves everybody. And all you got to do is pull Romans chapter 9, 9 verse 13. And they don't know what to do with that because they believe God loves everybody. Like, well, what the fuck? God is murdering people all throughout the Bible. What are you talking about? God loves everybody. This fucking genocide of the Canaanites that happened, the Philistines, the Edomites. The Edomites supposedly had a genocide according to the Bible, but then all of a sudden they turn up, they're still alive. That shit don't make no sense. That's what these Hebrew Israelites do. But if the Bible tells you that God wanted all Edomites to be killed in the First Samuel, the book of First Samuel, I believe, or Second Samuel, where Saul didn't want to kill the king, right? And then I believe it was Nathan or was it Samuel? He said, "Yo, God told you to, God told you to kill this king. You got to kill all of them. This is like even the cattle you got to kill. That's God's command. You just got to do it. Okay. Well, he didn't do it. He killed everybody, he killed everybody except the king. So the king was left alive, and then Samuel killed the king. So now there should be no more Edomites left. Why are you saying that white people today are the Edomites? That doesn't make any sense. If when you read in the book of Samuel, Edomites were exterminated, and the book of Obadiah tells you that they were exterminated too. Hebrew Israelites like to play with the scriptures and the timeline of things. They have no sense of like the timeline. Linear time escapes them constantly. They don't know what came first. When you read it in the book of Second Ezra chapter 13. First of all, the book of Second Ezra is thought to be written in 100 AD. We're talking about, we're well into the Roman Empire now, and you have the Book of Ezra. They say that that's when that was written. Okay, the Book of Ezra said that they went to a new land which never mankind inhabited, and never mankind dwelt. Okay, how come in the Book of First Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 28, it's telling you at that time, during this time, Book of Chronicles was written in the year between 250 to 400 BC, I think, or 350 BC to like 200 BC. That's the Book of First Chronicles. The Book of First Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 28, tells you that till this day there are Manassites and these people living in Assyria. So that was already 400 to 250 BC, and they were tribes, whole tribes that were still in by the river goes on, which is in Assyria, which is in northwest Assyria, where the river Euphrates meets the river goes on. What up, A Sharp? There's no way that Hebrew Israelites, 10 tribes, went on a voyage on ships when they were already east of the Euphrates River. They were northeast of the Euphrates River. These cats like to tell you that they went east and then crossed the Euphrates River. They were already east of the Euphrates River. How can they cross the Euphrates River going east when they are already east of the Euphrates River? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because these cats do not understand. When I question Hebrew Israelites about what they believe in, I'm like, yo, you made this statement. I'm holding you to your very own standard. You said that the Hebrew Israelites went east and made. I had this one dumbass Hebrew Israelite that he's not gonna come on. He already told me on the Facebook group Jews versus Hebrew Israelites. I'm on there challenging these cats, asking them what the hell does through that country it took a year and a half mean? How did they go through a country for a year and a half and end up in America? Which country did they go through? No, you see, they went through the Euphrates. The Euphrates is a river that goes through a country. Okay, but the Euphrates River ends once it hits the Indian Ocean, or what they call it, the Gulf of, forgot, or the Bay. There's something before the Indian Ocean, and then it gets into the Pacific Ocean. So once you get out of that, you're not going through a country anymore, Hebrew Israelites. Stop lying, saying that the 10 tribes went through a country for a year and a half and got to America, when you're literally saying they were in the open seas in the Pacific Ocean. How could both those things be true? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And they're racist as shit and mad fucking cocky in the meantime. And then they refuse to debate. So they think that they're the undefeated champion, but they never go to war. You never battle. How are you a fucking undefeated champion and you never go to battle? You never fucking swing swords. You're just fucking hiding, or you're on Facebook like a keyboard warrior typing. Then when I ask you a question, you go missing. When I ask you a question that you can't answer, then they go missing. And you're like, hello, I thought you were just responding. See, that's why I want to get them live so you can catch them and you can see their response and their stupid ass faces when they can't answer the question. There's so many things that I'm telling you, like I'm ready to damn debate these cats, and they never want to debate. I was just on Garfield's live this morning. I was on Garfield's live for like a few hours this morning into the afternoon, and we were talking about all this stuff. It was a bunch of us, and here come these Hotep fucking Egypt motherfuckers too that sound just like Hebrew Israelites that want to claim Egyptian heritage when Egyptians are fucking not sub-Saharan Africans. Egyptians didn't look like Wesley Snipes, man. Egyptians look like Osama bin Laden. They didn't look like fucking KRS-One. That's not how they looked. Egyptians are North Africans, man. Sub-Saharan Africans are the ones that look like, that's what you have here in the Americas. African Americans are mostly genetically sub-Saharan African and West African. That's different from a North African. Don't you know that fucking what's his name? What's that dude, man? From Morocco, that Moroccan rapper who looks white as fuck. He don't look black. His culture, you might say, oh, he acts black. Yeah, he's hung around. That's called nature versus nurture. He's hung around a bunch of fucking black people in New York and black Americans. And even though he's Moroccan, now he's acting like a black American. He's lost his Moroccan culture. I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about. I talk about him sometimes because North Africans are not the same as Sub-Saharan Africans, man. French Montana. There you go. French Montana is Moroccan. He's African. He's actually a North African, and people in like Algeria and all these different North African countries, they don't share the same DNA. Soldiers in the house. Soldier 141. So when the Hebrew Israelites look when the Bible tells you, oh yeah, they were confusing Egyptians for Hebrew Israelites, that's because Egyptians did look like Hebrew Israelites. They weren't black. All the scriptures that talk about black in the Bible is always a negative thing. And then they misinterpret it when sometimes black is actually talking about hot. There's the word for black in Hebrew, chum, is actually black. It means hot. But in English, it's translated as black. When you translate it to Hebrew, it means hot. That's why it says it was black as an oven. It's talking about our skin was hot as an oven, not as black as an oven. So they think that, oh, the real Jews are black because look at Lamentations. They're fucking this is a bad time. So when they're telling you that our skin is black during this bad time, it's not a good thing. It's actually a negative thing. So it makes you look stupid because they're showing you that being black is actually a negative thing in the Bible. All throughout the Bible, it's and black is a negative thing and white is purity. So if you really want to talk about color, if you really want to go there with color, you can easily see that black is always a negative thing. Even in Job chapter 30, verse 30, when it's literally talking about skin, even though what I think it's talking about is spots on the skin, it still says my skin is black and I'm a brother to dragons, all this negative shit. That's not talking about, oh, I'm beautiful. Even when you read Solomon 1 and 5, which Solomon didn't even write that, if you read it into context, you can realize that Solomon didn't even write that. But let's say an Israelite wrote that, okay? And he says, I am black, yet I'm comely. He's saying, I'm black, but I'm not ugly black. I'm beautiful black. As if they think as if they associate black with like not beautiful. That's why it says I'm black yet comely in Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. And then when you keep reading, it says, look not upon me because my skin is black, because my mother's children looked down on me or something like that. I forgot how it was worded. And they made me the keeper of the vineyard. What king is going to be your keeper of the vineyard? Or a prince? This is like a woman's job of keeping the vineyard. Like that's not Solomon saying that he was keeping the vineyard. Obviously, it's not Solomon. He's a king. What vineyard is he keeping? That doesn't make no sense. He's royalty. He ain't keeping no fucking vineyard. That's what the servants do. That's what lets you know that whoever's writing this has nothing to do with even the Israelites or any royalty or whatever, King Solomon. And every time you look at the depictions of Hebrew Israelites in the Assyrian reliefs, or even in Egypt, you can see the Semitic depictions. Um, they have them with their hair falling down. They don't have them their hair upward, like how you see black people's hair grow. Black people's hair don't grow falling down. That's not how they're depicted. Hebrew Israelites are depicted like Middle Eastern looking people, man, with straight hair. You can even have black people with straight hair, or dark skinned people with straight hair. That's what you call the East Indians or whatever. You know, aren't they dark skinned? So skin color doesn't even seem to matter when it comes to Hebrew Israelites because Africans, they don't claim they're Africans. They actually say they're not Africans. But Africans are black. So how do you look exactly like an African, but you're not an African? That's some serious deception that has been put on Black Americans and in Hispanics too. There's Hispanics that swear that they're black. They swear that they're black. It's like you're not black, bro. You are a mixture of black, indigenous, and European. There's people out here that literally tell you, "Yo, you're Puerto Rican. You're black." Like, what the fuck? A Puerto Rican is not just black. That's what they did with Obama. They say Obama's black, the first black. Obama's half white. Nobody acknowledges that ever. This is like a racist way of thinking. This is how they used to look at it back in the days. It's called the one drop rule, where if you have just any little bit of black in you, you're considered black. And that was used to segregate black people. That's actually a racist way of thinking and looking at shit. And that's exactly what they got y'all people doing. Y'all using the one drop pool. Any little, and I had this dumbass motherfucker come on one time, man. I don't even remember his name. Von some shit, Von Hausen. I forget his name. He had a weird ass name. He was from New York. He was a Judite. He thought he was a obese, overweight dude that claims that thinks he's a damn Hebrew Israelite king and some shit, a melanated king. This dude is a fucking idiot, bro. He was talking about Mexicans are black. He said Mexicans are black. I say, bro, you think Mexicans are black? Seriously, you think Mexicans are black? And then he goes, do you think there's no black Mexican? I was like, yo, there are Africans in Mexico. There's 2% African DNA of people that are considered black in Mexico. The 2% of the population of Mexico are considered black. And because of that 2%, you want to say Mexicans are all black? What the fuck is wrong with you? You Israelites are insane, man. I can't. And then they refuse to come back on. I'm like, yo, let me get you back on. I actually went over our live, and there's some things I missed that you went on. And I'm like, yo, what about this? And we start texting or messaging, and then they're like, yo, I already cooked you, yo, I cooked you. Like one dude that was trying to say that what was he saying? Oh yeah, that he got off. He actually jumped off my live and ran, and I never heard from him ever again. He was a Hebrew Israelite that was saying, the father's seed, whatever your father is, that's what you are. So I'm like, okay, well, Moab and Ammon had the same father, and y'all say one is Japanese and one is Chinese, so they're not the same people. Like, what are you talking about? Like they're two different nations. How could father's seed determine a different nation when you have the same father's seed with Moab and Ammon? Right? It was Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham. Right? And Lot was the one that's in Genesis chapter 19, Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Genesis 16, I forget. With Sodom and Gomorrah and all that shit. And here come here come the men of Sodom and Gomorrah. They want to rape the angels. Remember? They wanted to fucking rape the angels. And they said, who those men? That shit was sick. That's the Bible for you. They come looking for the angels to rape the angels. They say, yo, who are those men, yo? This is how you know it's a fake ass story. It's that people of all ages came to damn get a piece of them angels. I gotta have them. They said, I gotta have them. Where are those angels? It even tells you that they were struck blind and they were still trying to grab the angels. They were still looking for them. I gotta have these angels. They were struck blind and they were still trying to grab the angels and shit. They were perverts. Shit was sick. And then here comes Lot and says to the men, oh, don't be so evil. Why don't you take my daughters? They have not known man. I had a Hebrew Israelite tell me, well, don't you know that they're homosexuals? They're not gonna take a woman. So that was smart for Noah to to buy time. What are you talking about? How did you get that at all? This is people going into their own mind trying to explain conflicts in the Bible. Yo, these niggas are supposed to be sodomites that they'll take any hole, really. But nah, they said no, we don't want them women. We want them angels, man. Give me them angels. We want angel ass. I think that's what Gorilla Hebrew wants. He wants to get pegged by an angel. In the arms of an angel. To be pegged by an angel. That's gonna be the fucking autobiography of Gorilla Hebrew. Pegged by an angel. You know, touched by an angel. But let's pour some of this right here. Let's get this night started. It was rowdy up in this neighborhood fucking earlier. I don't know what's going on. They letting people get Section 8 up in here or some shit. Shit is wild, baby. I'm blind and sniffing for that ass. Pegged by an angel is diabolical. I was pegged by an angel. Nah. Um, I was just reminded by Garfield because Garfield played one of my videos on his live this morning. You go to Garfield's channel, brother Garfield. He's known for destroying Hebrew Israelites even better than I have ever done. Because they actually give him the time of day because he's known in the conscious community amongst cats like Reggie and Polite. You know, he's known amongst all these people. He even knows. Damn, who did I see him link up with not too long ago? I forgot, but Garfield has been doing it. Has been embarrassing Hebrew Israelites for a long time, and he's been using some of my videos here and there. I've randomly come on Garfield's live that I seen he was live at the moment, and I'm just like, let me click on his channel and let me see what he got going on. You know, I like his content, and as soon as I get on his channel, my face is on there. I was like, what the hell? And he got one of my videos playing, and I recognize it's a video about Katazai, Captain Katazai. He loves what I did to Katazai. Brother Garfield gave me a lot of respect on that, and played my video for his audience and showed how backwards what we all see. Because a Hebrew Israelite will tell you, "Oh, what I cooked that dude. He got cooked," and it's like, yo, here we have actual people that know the scriptures and that know how Hebrew Israelites debate all this bullshit, and they're like, "Yo, you just cooked this cat. This guy had nothing to say." So, I want to get this cat back, or I want to get back on his channel, but I'd rather do a debate with Katazar. Well, I'm talking about Captain Katazar of the ISUPK, where I'm not on his channel, where he doesn't have the power to just kick me off, because at any time he can do that when he feels like he's being defeated, and it's like, that ain't fair. What the fuck? Why don't you actually address the questions that are hard? That's how you know that your belief is sound, that your doctrine is truly sound and bulletproof, is when you can answer any question without getting upset or fucking getting frustrated and kicking somebody off. Like, I didn't do anything to make him feel like, yo, this guy is unhinged. I can't. It was just straight up, yo. I thought that you knew about the Lost Lunas or the Father Nazario Stones. I thought you did your extensive research, and he got all mad because he kept trying to be like, yo, I'm gonna send you some information. I'll send you some information. I'll send you an email. No, bro, I called your channel so we could talk. I called your platform so we could talk about this live. Don't back out now, Captain Katazai, you bitch ass rat face motherfucker. Don't bitch out now. Have a question. Why you think us is Arsareth? The US? I don't think the US is Arsareth. Hebrew Israelites think that. I don't believe that. I don't think Arsareth is any place.
Come on, brother,
What's good,
and
brother?
represent. I had to find
How
my
you
hat. I
doing?
see you trying to rep with New York City. They
That's
cost me
right.
money the other day, so I said, "No, let me get my T Wolves hat on and pull this mug out the closet up on
I'm very impressed by what the T Wolves did. I mean, the Lakers are scrubbing it up right now, but yeah, the Knicks is another story, man.
him." Yeah, I
But
should have put my money against New York, but that was an impossible shot.
yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. I mean, was that game 7 too? No,
Yep.
that was
Yeah. That's
no. I think that was
no.
actually
That's it.
game.
No, that's it. Them home.
Oh, okay.
That's in Detroit home right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if that was. Yeah, I
Yep.
think that was game 7, right? No, no, that wasn't game 7.
Yeah. That's.
No, it wasn't game. It was game 6. I think they beat him in.
Oh yeah. Well, either
Because
way,
I
it's
know
it's
I
a
know they
wrap
won- I
now.
know they won in Detroit, and the Knicks had a better record than Detroit, so the Knicks would have had home court advantage that game 7, and they I know they were in Detroit, so I think that was game 6.
No, I was just licking the wounds. I lost $70 over that game, but it's all good. We're gonna see what the next rounds is doing. But no, I was just listening to some of the points. Like, this is the dumbest argument ever. This whole Arsareth subject. When you go into this, like just what you were saying, y'all are putting
Mm-hmm.
this whole 10 tribes exodus in what? 722 BC, and they'll
Yeah.
say the land which not mankind had not inhabited. You know how much land and how much of the earth was not inhabited in 722 BC? To just
Right.
say that's America right there. When you look at that, Australia definitely wasn't inhabited during that time.
Right.
If Moab and Ammon was on the eastern part of the land of Israel, they weren't in
Right.
China and Japan like they say during that time. So how
Right.
can you just say America was the land that was inhabited when there was a huge portion of the world that did not have inhabitants at that time?
Right. And
Is
the world, I think according to them, the population of people in the world would have been way less
way
than
less.
what it is now. And then also, the scriptures didn't tell you how big Arsareth is, so it could have just been a little plot of land that no man inhabited, and
Exactly.
that doesn't seem so incredible when it's just a little piece of land somewhere that nobody inhabited. Maybe it
And
was yeah.
And then just looking at it, with the area they had to come out in, they would have to come out in the Arabian Sea. Was it the Gulf of? You got the Gulf of Arabia, and I think like the Bay of
Mhm.
Bengal or something like that.
Mhm.
Those would have been the two parts they had to come out by. Why would they
Yeah.
not sail to Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, which is way closer than going all the way through on the eastern side of Africa, all the way to the Americas? It doesn't even make sense.
Did you ever hear this breakdown though? There's a scripture I think in Chronicles where it says King Solomon took his navy fleets every 3 years or once every 3 years, and he would come back with gold and what else was it? Peacock.
Peacocks and apes and all that.
You know what we
And
could
you
do? There's a dude that he was gonna come on, but he bitched out in the last second. He was trying to tell me that because it says that it took him 3 years, even though it doesn't say that it took Solomon 3 years to go and come back, because they'll
Yeah.
say, oh, it takes a year and a half to get to America. So a year and a half plus a year and a half is 3 years. I didn't know they were using that scripture. I think I remember doing something like that, but that shit don't make any sense because where did the fleets of Solomon leave from in order to get to America in a year and a half? Because they wouldn't have been through the Euphrates and out of the Arabian Bay or the Arabian Gulf, and then into the all of that would have taken a different amount of time if
Exactly.
if Solomon's fleets were in Spain, because I think it mentions Tarshish in there.
Yeah.
Then couldn't it be that he was going from maybe the Mediterranean to Spain, because that's a doable trip.
That's probably about the farthest he was going at that anyway.
Yeah.
Because the lie
And
that we got told was when they were going getting things like peacocks and chimps. See, the uneducated brother that was trying to teach that said peacocks are indigenous to the Americas. So that's how the tribes knew that the Americas was here. When you look that up, that's one of the most idiotic lies that's
yeah.
ever been
Yeah.
told. Because
Yeah.
peacocks are not just indigenous to America, they're all over
Right.
the place. Many
Right.
different species and all that. And where do you get some chimps at in America?
Right. Right.
It's just like when you're young and dumb, you'll listen to anything, and that's what them dudes bank on. They bank on
And
people that don't know
and
history and
and
all
if
that.
and all of that is talking about trades too. Who are they trading with if no man ever inhabited Arsareth?
Exactly.
Where are they getting all this from? You think they're just pillaging, and it's just a free for all? Like this is crazy that they even believe that they would do this. But the timeline that they try to make is, oh, a year and a half plus a year and a half. It took a year and a half to get there, a year and a half to come back. It's 3 years. That's why it says once every 3 years. But then where did they leave from? It's when Columbus uh, sailed the ocean blue, and got to the Americas from Spain. It took him
Right.
20. It took him, I think it said, 2 months.
Yep.
It took 60 days. And I would imagine Solomon probably had better fleets and better technology if you want to fucking call yourself if you want to
The
call yourself a
king.
real Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, the
But no,
king. The
they're
greatest
gonna
king
make
ever.
up some excuse, man.
Yeah, I mean, even when you just read on down in that second, was it second Ezra 13? And
Hmm.
you read like the 47th verse. This is just something else that contradicts everything they're talking about. It tells you, verse 46, they dwelt there until the latter day time. I ain't read this thing forever. They dwelt
Yeah.
they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, meaning this was, we always talk, this is when they begin to return,
Mm-hmm.
the highest shall stay the springs of the
Of the
stream again.
stream.
What
Right.
stream is he staying
Hmm.
again if they're here in America? What stream is this? We're talking
Yeah.
the whole Atlantic now? I
I
mean,
had it.
it makes no
There was
sense.
a there was a Hebrew Israelite that said, well, those are some of the remaining 10 tribes that remained in that land. Those are the ones that have to come back and cross the stream. And I'm like, yo, it's literally talking about the 10 tribes. Just like he started off in verse 40, where it says, here are the 10 tribes. It's still talking about the 10 tribes. And it's saying, now when they shall begin to, who's they? The 10
Yeah.
tribes.
Well, even that, you could have
It's
just cut
crazy.
him off and told him, no, that's not what it's talking. Verse 48 is the one that's talking about the 10 tribes that's left in the land. Verse
Mhm.
47 is talking the other part of the larger group of them that's going to, that the Lord's going to stay the springs for. So which one is it?
Right.
When you really start challenge them, that the worst thing for a Hebrew Israelite is someone that knows their doctrine. You notice they're going to be a lot more impatient and short with you because they don't want you to
Hmm.
point out things that you know is just contradictions in what we used to teach.
Right.
But
There's also that scripture. I think it's First Chronicles 5:28, where it says like there's two scriptures that talk about how the Israelites were taken to the like where the Israelite settlements were in Assyria, pretty much. There's history that the Israelites were in Assyria and stayed there and assimilated, and some of them probably even went more north and became what's called the Scythians, the Scythian Goths,
the
which had
Scythians, the Goths, the French, all them different
I've heard it
groups.
pronounced Sky. I used to pronounce the Scythians, but I've heard somebody pronounce the Scythians recently. But I don't know.
I heard Scythians in the cult,
Yeah,
so they probably were
yeah,
pronouncing it wrong.
yeah. We were pronouncing that wrong. I just found out like not too long ago that's pronounced Scythians. But those were actual Israelites, and
They
and
don't
there's
want to
there.
accept the fact that Israelites migrated into Europe and became assimilated in Europe. They don't want to
Yeah.
accept that. That's why the whole narrative is Africa, so you can throw in the
Hmm.
colorism and all that up in there. It's
Yeah.
all the setup, which is what you
Right.
was saying too. That's one of the greatest mind fucks ever. You look like African, you can see traits of African, you can see parts of the culture even during slavery, but you're not African. Then you done taken the Hispanic tribes, you're not really Indian in these native tribes. You're really black. You have a
Hmm.
closer descendant to black people than these native tribes, which you've been intermingling and sharing bloodlines for centuries.
There
And
was a dude
then,
there was a dude that came on and said Mexicans are black, bro. A Hebrew Israelite one time. He said
yeah,
Mexicans are black. I was like, yo,
and
Mexicans are
then,
black?
and people
And
don't.
then his response is, so you're saying there's no black Mexicans? And I'm like, wow, yo, you see how evil and these guys are tricksters, bro.
Deceptive. Deceptive. Yes, there were black people that intermarried with the native Mexican people and produced Afro Mexicans. Yeah, that is a fact that happened. But it doesn't mean the Mexicans came over with woolly hair looking just like us. It just that's just not
Crazy, bro.
factual.
2% of the Mexican population are considered black. You know, that's crazy
And
because
that's just going into bloodline. That's it. That's it's not saying they were already black. No, these are people that mingled and intermingled with
right,
African peoples.
right. Because they'll
It's
take
no
that.
different
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
Puerto Rican and the modern day Dominican. That's a mixture of these different ethnic groups. You're made
right.
up new splice people. You're not the ancient nothing. You are descendants of descendants of descendants of descendants of these people. Like you might have like 0.5% of that blood up in you somewhere,
Yeah, I
but they
mean,
want to deny
yeah.
science. That's the other part too.
And then you have like some of these cats. Like when I was on Garfield, brother Garfield's podcast earlier, and there was a dude that he was debating that kind of took up most of the time that I was on there. So I don't really do a lot of this Egypt shit, but I know a little bit about Egypt. And but Garfield knows his fucking African history very well. And this guy was trying to say that there's evidence that some West Africans, because he's trying to claim he's Egyptian, And
Mhm.
he's a black American. And
Right.
Garfield's like, you're doing exactly what the Hebrew Israelites are doing. Hebrew Israelites claim that there was a migration that you can never find. You
Mhm.
can never actually
Yep.
trace this. And all
You
they
can
ever
find
say is
no
that
evidence of these migrations.
yeah, and all they ever say was that, oh well, they got conquered, and that doesn't mean that you're just gonna migrate. Like people go to war and stay in their lands. They just got their asses kicked. That don't mean that they're just gonna run away. Like who the fuck? Like
Exactly.
every time there's a war or something, they just run away and go. That's how the Israelites work. Like what is that?
No, you went to war, that nation beat you and occupied your land, and you stayed right there
Yeah,
working the land
yeah.
and assimilating in.
And you paid tribute.
Yeah,
And you
that's
paid tribute like King Joab or whatever did.
yeah, we was
He,
just going into that. You can go into records of other nations that have the Israelites had wars with them in
right,
captivity and all that, and they don't look like some brother looking like Biggie Smalls with a fro and all that when you look at these pictures of the Israelites.
right.
Brothers
Oh,
just
look,
don't want to accept there were dark-skinned races that did not look like Negro when it comes to being dark-skinned races.
and this dude says, look at the comment section here. This dude says, where's that? He says, black. No one is actually black. He says, this is how they try to do the double speak. That's good, bro. Yeah, I'm on the live.
Yes, it's
You can say what up. It's some of my people from the neighborhood.
what's good.
Yeah,
See,
yeah. That's my
Florida's
guy
out
from
there.
Florida, man.
At
What's
Y3,
good?
not going.
That's my man, Y3.
Tap ever. I got
These young cats, bro.
Oh,
Man.
see, they're hopping
That's
off
my
the
boy
porch
from
young in
Minneapolis,
Florida.
Minnesota.
yeah, Minneapolis. Hey, how many people here?
We only
People?
got six
We
people, but I
we
ain't
only
that big. I ain't that big.
I always tap in.
Yeah, tap in. I appreciate y'all though, man.
For that bam bam
see,
pow.
Yeah, man.
Florida look like it got some Cali killer in Florida.
I like your piece, though.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. See, black, no one's black until you
Uh-huh.
read Jeremiah 14 and 2, and now all of a sudden it all clicks and relates all of a sudden. And it's just like you
Yeah.
said, black was never really being used to describe skin color ever. You hear instances where you can make reference.
It's like how they get upset when you say, "Well, oh, the Middle East." It's like, there's no Middle East, and it's like
There is no such thing as the Middle
these
East.
are
That was
just
made up.
new terms that we have today that we can label something, and black is a term that labels people's race. So when they say,
Exactly.
"Oh, nobody's actually black," that's how they try to play you because they'll be the same ones that say Jesus Christ is black, and then
Yeah,
they'll tell you Jesus Christ is black. Then they say nobody's black. You guys
exactly.
are the ones that say Jesus Christ is black. Wahaza Zaharak, whatever your name
Uh,
is.
That's it.
Wahazarak, Wahazaharak.
If no one is black, then like I said, Black Lives Matter is irrelevant. Then well, that
Right.
means nothing. No one's black. So
Okay.
what
Yeah.
were you even talking about? It's a stupid. It's semantics. That's all this stuff is.
It's called
Now
semantics.
there's no such thing as the Middle East, but people have been referring to that area for hundreds of years as the Middle
Yeah.
East.
The Middle East is also known as the
It's the northern
the
part
Near
of
East.
Africa. No,
Yeah.
the Middle East is really the northern tip of Africa, the land of Israel itself.
Right. And then they
That's the
talk
new
about
one they're
yeah,
putting up in
talk
there.
about they want to talk about well, Africa is on the same tectonic plate as Israel. It's like what the fuck? Who cares about a tectonic plate? Now you guys
Now
want
you
to talk about
now y'all
science?
want to go into science now.
No,
Now
yeah.
y'all believe in
I want to get
science
all
all of a
fucking
sudden.
smart. Ask him what's a tectonic plate, and doesn't the tectonic plate isn't there a big ass tectonic plate that covers like Canada and North America and South America? So does that mean that they're
Exactly.
all the same people? Like that doesn't make any sense. You can be on a tectonic plate. It doesn't mean shit, man. And them shits are constantly shifting, anyways.
Exactly. I mean, the whole scientific trying to argue with them in science, it's just irrelevant. It's like listening to D. Hale Hughley now as he tries to talk politics. It's just like, brother, this is not your field right here.
Yeah,
But
and then when they start talking about like definitions or like anything modern, these guys always lost. They always get lost. That's why they need to play. They need to stay in their little playground of this 1970s. They were taught by these 1970s, Judites or whatever you want to call them. They call them Judites, Jakes.
right.
like that they still talk. They still were carrying on 70s slang because we learned it from these people. These like
Exactly.
we were kind of like stuck. Like they pulled us into a time warp. It was like
Exactly. And that's what it is. You
crazy.
came up under all them 1970s jive turkey hustling niggas.
Ja-
The ones that came right off of the real civil rights movements that really didn't get involved but was kind of
yeah,
looking on the sideline. That's who we got taught by. Niggas like that. People
right,
that really was not getting their hands dirty doing the work, but they came after the fact.
right.
All these groups came up after the Panthers, after Malcolm X and all that, when there was real issues that was going
Yeah,
on, and
yeah.
just
Those
became the new race hustlers.
exactly. There were real issues. People realized like, oh shit, we could make a living off of becoming an activist. Like this is like a job now. People want to be activists and just protest.
that's that's
Like they
my whole
they
argument in this
want to
broadened time is it's not that there's not real issues that go on that still need to be rectified. It's just you people that's out here with the activism and this fake revolution, you're not serious. That's the whole thing. Like all y'all is front and playing
yeah.
games and you're hustling people with it. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that scam is uncovered, and you see it with Dr. Umar Johnson and all Tariq Nasheed, all these like pan,
Y'all got
the
books that are
African,
worthless.
yeah,
Damn, all these different damn meetings and seminars. Same shit that we was doing. Yeah, meet me here for this seminar. $100 a
oh
plate.
yeah.
Powerful information, and
I'm,
it's the
I'm
same
I'm gonna start
regurgitated
a
BS.
university. I'm gonna start a school, a university, and it's gonna be tuition and all that
But
shit.
I but I want all black. I want all black architects, all black
Right.
engineers. That's why it's taking so long because my people don't want to help me out. Brother, it doesn't take that long to build a school, man. Stop it. Oprah
and
went to
and,
Africa and
and
built a school and
a lot of
like
Hebrew
that.
Israelites, a lot of these Hebrew Israelites were sharing Dr. Umar's shit. I have friends that weren't even Hebrew Israelites that I grew up with sharing his shit. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Do you know this
And,
guy's
and,
like fucking full
and
blown rape?
Umar has said that the Hebrew Israelite belief is bullshit. He's straight up said that before. Like that's bullshit that you're trying
Yeah,
to tell me all these different groups and ethnicities and all that stuff. He don't even believe in that, but you'll support it when he says no snow bunny hopping and all that. Because people get a kick off that type stuff. It's
right.
all hustling right now, and it's entertainment at this point. People are picking
And,
these people like sports teams.
and they're
Oh, I
taking
like
advantage of
Umar.
their
Oh, I like
gullibility
Tariq.
and
Or I
their
like Bishop Nathaniel.
yeah, and they're taking advantage of their gullibility and their like tribalism too. There's a lot of tribalism, in America with people that are like this and franchise because these are the people that need to stick closer to who they know. They don't like to
Yep.
veer off. They don't like to veer off too far because they don't trust nobody. You see it. There's
Yep.
no trust for the government, no trust for this, no trust for the white man. Can't trust the white man. So it's like they separate themselves, they isolate themselves in order to survive, they think. But
Yep.
it's like they make them it makes it harder to survive when you cut off some of your probably most powerful allies. Because
Thank
if
you.
you're white people are the ones with money, then you want that money. You got a rapper by the name of Kevin Gates right now. Kevin Gates, he be setting his shit straight. I love. I don't listen to his music, but I love listening to him talk. That's a smart motherfucker right there. Because he'll tell you straight up. He's like, people want to all this hooping and hollering, Black Lives Matter. But he's like, we the ones that be killing each other in the hood. We the ones that be,
But
we're
his
the ones
I was
that kill each other
his
back.
exact words
Oh, when the
was,
white person kills the black
I've been left
one to
that
start
pussy
hooping and
ass
hollering.
shit. Those was his little
Yeah.
words. He said, I've been left that pussy ass shit alone because he realizes it's a setup. It's just a bunch of people with no direction running off a cliff complaining over
ASAP,
issues that's not necessarily all real issues anymore.
ASAP Rocky's another smart motherfucker too, man. When you listen to him actually talk, as I don't listen to none of these cats' music, bro. But sometimes I listen to them like they get asked a question, they try to
They
pull the
from your area. Alabama's right above Florida, ain't it?
yeah, and Lil Wayne is not that. Lil Wayne's kind of an idiot, but when it
Yeah,
comes to
Lil
that,
Wayne is an idiot though.
because
Yeah, yeah.
these people, what they're starting to realize is that it's about money. It's that
This
life
is
is
business. The
about money.
culture of America is business. It doesn't run on anything else. And if you don't get your mind on that process in you, you're gonna get swallowed up and just be complaining as things keep changing on you because you're stuck in the 70s, like where these clowns was trying to put us.
They want to
And
be
it's
revolutionary. and shit, and it's like you missed the boat, bro. Like you're not
You missed
Malcolm
the
X.
boat.
You
Thank you.
fucking
That's
yeah.
it. You missed the boat,
You're not.
brother.
You're
The
not Huey Newton.
revolution is not going to be televised because the revolution is over. That's what people have to realize. Well, y'all better go back and look at what they do in real governments like in Africa, where they got the power to say, "Know what? We're going to be done dealing with the French government. We're going to change things and do it that way." Until you're in those positions, you really can't say nothing. You're just complaining here with no power. And then
Yeah,
this would other nation. You can't just roll around. Everybody's the enemy. Like you have to have allies in order to build your country. Your country and land is not going to have certain resources, minerals, education, all that you need to build a nation. That's why all
and
these
that
dudes is
and
playing
really,
games.
and really, that's actually a good move that I see being done politically because what we've been getting fucked by China, who's a fake ally. They're not our fucking ally. They fuck us over with the percentage on tariffs because they know that they do the cheapest labor because they put their people to work and their people work hard.
I
They,
respect the
look
hell
up,
out of China. Look at what where they've
bro.
come
They're,
from
they're
the
like they're like
80s
machines,
to
bro.
now.
They're like machines,
China
though.
was a joke in the 80s when we
Yo,
was coming up.
look,
Made in
look,
China, you would laugh at that stuff.
look at what they do here in America. They come here in America where they're supposed to be a minority, and they're supposed to that whole um, systemic racism is supposed to work against them too. Then,
Yep.
but you see, it doesn't work against them, and people and the black community gets mad about it too, and they're like, "Oh, it's because they're part of white supremacy."
They caught a lot of the grunt of racism when they were coming and building the railroads in the 1800s and all that. They caught a gang of that. And what it was is they smartened up and they organized. That's all that was. They caught the same racist stuff that black people was doing. You better look at damn, I forget it was on AMC. I gotta look this up now. It's a show that actually shows you when they were building the railroads because you had black people and all that as they're expanding to the West.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
highway
The West,
to
how the West was won. Yo, the West was where the money was at. If you want to talk about the Israelites found gold and they were the Navy
the
fleets of
the
Solomon was bringing
gold
back.
rush.
Were they going to the West because that's really where the shit was at. That's really where
That
I mean when they came to Virginia and the shores of Virginia and they asked them where's the gold, they
right,
pulled out corn. They thought they were talking about corn.
right.
It was like this is the best thing we have. They
Yeah, they
love
said, "Oh, fuck that.
and
We're going west."
that's how the
So
natives were. Whatever
it's a
you
little
call
bit
those
more
natives.
hostile over there. The Comanches and
Yeah.
all that, the Apaches, they don't play out there, but it's worth the risk when it comes to this gold.
And
Uh,
shout out to my brother Luis Diaz, who's an actual Hebrew Israelite, and he's Comanche and Mexican
oh
uh,
yes, yeah.
from OKC. That's my man.
See,
That's my brother right there from OKC.
and see, that's the crazy thing. Yeah, that's what it's called. Hell on Wheels is the name of that show. It's on Prime. Y'all gotta check that one out.
Hellbound.
Hell on Wheels.
Hell on
Yeah,
wheels.
yeah, that's showing how they expanded in the West. You got Common and some other people on it. But yeah, just with that whole thing, you got these brothers in these different camps will sit there and try and break down the history of these different native tribes, how they got here. These people are telling you, look, we kept some of the records of our history. You know what we was doing and all that. And you'll have a simple mind Negro, no, brother. See, when you were wearing those fringes on there, that goes back to the law of Moses, not even realizing that was a dress code that many cultures had when it came to fringes on their clothing. That wasn't something
Oh,
that was
you know
just.
that actually goes back to the Acadians. That actually goes back to the Acadians. That goes back to Samaria. I read.
That's what I'm saying. You see images with the
I'm gonna pull
Babylonians and
that up.
stuff with that
I'm
and
gonna I'm gonna
fringes on their
do
clothes.
do your extensive research because one of the cradles of civilization is actually right there by the Tigris and the Euphrates River, and there was a kingdom called the Sumerian Kingdom, and the people were called Akkadians, and you had what was the guy's name? Always forget his name. His,
Acadians.
forget the dude's. It was like a main like king that they worshipped. He was like a king and a god. Um, and um, and a lot of the customs came down
I
to
want to
it's
say something like
all of that falls in Levant.
Amimelech or Nimelech, something Lek, one of them ancient
Yeah,
Sumerian
right,
kings.
right, right. because remember it says Abraham came back from the slaughter of the kings, right? Um, damn, I forgot. There was a few of them, man. That like later on, the Syrian kingdom and Babylon, it was it was all kind of like a revamping of what was already a established kingdom because they have that trade route going through the Middle East was very
Right.
popular in the Tigris and the Euphrates River. Civilization always started by bodies of water, fresh water. You know, so
Exactly.
they always started building around the Euphrates or the Tigris or some shit. Or the Nile River, and also civilization started coming because the Mayans had a whole water management system. They had irrigation.
Yeah.
They actually were like a little developed compared to like the Incas. The Incas were very savage, but they were more developed.
The
Now
Incas was like
you could
some
compare that.
intellectual shit too. You got to think more. The Aztecs was just we know was blood
But
and
but
heads rolling.
the thing is sometimes Garfield was talking about this too, man. This is a great point because this Egyptian cat was trying to always make it seem like something has to always come from something, and the white black man was the first one. Why you always got to be the first one? You always want to be a part of some shit that you're not, just to take credit for what? Can't you be the
Thank you.
first one to do something right now? You want to ride somebody else's dick and somebody else's accomplishment and say, well, I'm like it.
Something
So
something
like
that you can't even
it's just
physically
retarded,
duplicate
bro.
yourself. You couldn't do half of the stuff that you're telling these people did, but you're telling what we did. No, you're taking someone
Right.
else's accomplishments. It's no
Exactly.
different from me saying I was ghostwriting for Jay Z. It's the same thing. So Jay Z is the best rapper, so I'm the best rapper. No, it doesn't work that way. That particular individual, that family that's skilled in it, is who the credit goes to, not everybody. See, people they got the wrong perspective. That's why I say that's that old we dang mentality that we've had too long. It's like, no, bro, that's a send off right there. You're taking credit for something you haven't accomplished, something you don't even care about in research like that. It's just something you heard too.
It's funny because I think I first noticed that with sports, right? Like as a Mets fan, I'm be like, "Yo, we won!" Like I didn't do shit, but we won.
Exactly. I get trying to the inclusiveness, but you have to bring it to a realistic scope, as you damn saying we. Yeah, I support us up on this, but it's not we as far as we're all doing this.
Yo, y'all gotta subscribe. I'm gonna do this right now because Garfield's been shouting me out for a minute now. I just noticed, and he played one of my videos today where we had an LGBT. Remember the LGBTQ, the LGBT Hebrew Israelite. Remember that the cat came on. Yo,
I think I
LGBT
missed
Hebrew.
that show.
Yo, you didn't watch that one? Yo, I
I think
forgot.
I want
I forgot
yeah.
about that. I had Fortune 93. I don't know if you know Fortune. He's the one that introduced me to Garfield. I had him on, and all of a sudden, this dude who's been commenting, who I thought was a troll because his name is LGBT Hebrew Israelites. So I'm like, this is a troll, you know? And I seen his name, it kept popping up in the lives. He'll comment and I'll read it, I would just ignore him. And then one day I was like, oh, I put the link out and he came on and started saying that Zabak is a fruit. And then Gorilla Hebrew
Oh,
came up.
I do remember that. I do remember that
And
a
then,
little
then
bit.
remember, yo, then I brought up Gorilla Hebrew. And I was like, what about Gorilla Hebrew, man? I brought that nigga up. I was like, I didn't even realize that. I was like, wait a.
Uh, I, I thought you was telling me
And
Gorilla
I was
Hebrew
and,
popped
and
up on the
like,
show.
yo, cause I was like, ain't he out there? He's out there in Cali, and I know niggas in Cali be some of the Hollywood motherfuckers. That's
Right.
the land of plastic surgery and all of that LGBT shit. They love that shit out there. And this nigga was saying that there's Hebrew Israelites that love fucking with trans, and they love like they because they could just use them and just get their rocks off, and then nobody would know. Like if they don't wife them, they don't give a fuck. This is fucking like it's
That is
weird.
crazy.
It's weird. That's what he was saying. And then the dudes, Garfield's playing the video, and then I'm like, yo, what about like Gorilla Hebrew? Have you ever heard anything about him? And he was like, nah. He was like, I don't think. And he was kind of like trying to make it seem like Sakari is like official or some shit. And
Right.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, didn't he move to Atlanta? I was like, so he went from like LA to Atlanta. I'm like, those are like two of the biggest fucking homosexual hubs in the world and shit.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember which one was it Cali or was it Atlanta? I think it was Atlanta when they went and had the Passover at the strip club.
Yeah,
like actual live
well,
Passover in the strip
I
club.
guess to their defense, they had the after party for the Passover at the strip club. So they,
Oh, okay, okay.
just to be accurate, because
The
that's
the ceremony didn't take place
Mhm.
under damn other damn 11 agents. Okay, all right.
Yeah, man.
Okay, the after party. That's amazing right
So,
there.
these cats, especially from what we just heard about Gorilla Hebrew.
Yeah,
You know for a fact that Gorilla Hebrew be out here fucking all types of things, man.
I
He's
mean,
get- he's getting in the middle and in between all types of shit that we don't even know about. Because what we found out was the tip of the iceberg. Because he started getting greedy and started trying to be like, hey, maybe one of my wives. Now you're getting
but
greedy. You
now that I think
you living
about
a
it,
double life. He's living a double
there
life. Yeah,
there was something in the past that I
they,
think that
they,
came out. I think with his father that was on some type of homo funny type of lifestyle stuff too, though, and that's
his
why he don't
father,
deal with him.
his
Yes,
father,
it's probably gonna be hard to find again, but I could have sworn there's some funny stuff going on with his father and all that. Why
right?
he don't? Because
I, I,
his mother is an Edomite, according to them. His mother's an Edomite, but his pops is on some old funny homo stuff, and that's why he don't deal with him like that either.
you gonna give me a copyright strike,
I
nigga?
I I I gotta
It's gonna
try and
pick up
I gotta
the song.
try and look at that. It's gonna be hard to find though. Now I'm sure he done definitely went and combed all that stuff now. But
These
yeah,
niggas
that
gonna give
was
me a
something that was
copyright.
out there some years ago. Oh yeah,
Yeah, my
yeah.
bad.
You got the young and thuggin' dang down there in Florida. It's looking like.
I'm this cat's playing music. I can't even hear you. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's the image.
Yeah, I'm like, get the fuck
Oh,
out of here, nigga. I'm like, you gonna give me a copyright strike? Get the fuck out of here.
yeah, there was. Yep, they was trying to help the strippers. That's what they said. Jesus, he ate amongst the sinners and the prostitutes and all that. So they're just doing what
Right.
Jesus did when they was at the after
Get
party.
them girls right. He's just, trying to save them. They don't want to be saved.
Mhm. The captain. I'm just going up, reading
Don't,
some of these comments.
you don't want to be saved. Don't save
So
them.
it tells it like it is. But no, this whole, like I said, these dudes will never run out of content. There's all types of stuff they're gonna use and play off the media and world events and all that. Like you would think that people would eventually wake up and say, like, these dudes is really
Well,
have no plan for us.
well. What do you think about these cats training camp where they're pepper spraying people in the face now?
Oh, the ISUPK?
They're pepper spraying you in the face and making you. You gotta
The
swing for your life, brother.
the real
Why
nigga academy don't play. That's the real nigga academy. That's the new, I think, black ops version of the ISUPK.
Hey,
Yep, they damn.
my phone's about to die, brother. I gotta think I'm gonna call it. Plus, I gotta work tomorrow.
I was gonna keep it brief tonight too. I just had to come tap in on a couple of these points.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got like 2 more minutes maybe on this battery because I just need a new phone. That's what it is. I'm trying to
Yeah,
I'm trying to be damn trying to get blood from a stone and damn how they call it, squeeze the eagle on. You squeeze a quarter so hard you make the
yeah.
eagle scream. They say.
No, that's what time it is right now.
Yeah, bro. That's the best way to be. Just to get talk a little bit of finance. The best way to act is like how you see, like how we used to always talk about. Yo, Bill Gates is a millionaire. Jerry Springer, they dress like fucking Ned Flanders or some shit. You
Right.
know, like, well, why you need to fucking, it's like there's internal issues with some of us, man, where we need to fucking shine and let everybody know we got money. Now you're gonna become a target. You know,
Yep.
why do you have to let everybody know you got money or you got this? You got that? That's the best way to be is to act like you're broke and just pinch a penny.
Pretty much. Now I'm
But
waiting for some of these things to drop right now. The
bro, I'm
market's
getting
looking
old.
good.
I'm getting to the point where I'm looking at couponing and shit. I'm like I'm just trying to
Stop
cut
it.
corners.
Stop it. Stop it. The payday's coming.
Nah,
But
nah.
no,
I mean, I mean, there's just a certain mind state where you're like, you know, I know how my like how I was raised and how my grandmother raised me. It's like anytime we had a little bit of money, we would like send it up to Dominican Republic or something, send it down there because we're like, oh yeah, let's help them. And it's like this is our last $50, you know. And my grandmother's sending them 40, so I'm like, holy shit, we got $10
Hmm.
for 10 people, you know.
Yeah, and they living good off that 40.
But we had it
Man,
rough. Like I grew up,
America is
I
not the
grew up.
same prices.
I was thinking about how little I had growing up, and how I could still maintain that and still be happy. Like, you know, I saw Ari Spears talking to his former girlfriend from Mad TV, and she put him on the spot. I forget her name. That black girl from Mad TV. She's fly as fuck. She got like a nose ring now and bald head. And Ari Spears was talking about he wants a
Oh,
mansion, he wants
I
some
know you're
money,
talking about.
and all this. And she was telling him like, "Yo, I live in a 1 bedroom apartment and I drive uh uh." She said like a Chevy something, and she's like, and I'm happy. And she's like, brother, you need to find happiness because you need you. She put him out there on Front Street. She was like, you don't have a good relationship with your children, and you're just not a good father, and
Damn.
some shit like that. But you want a
Yeah.
mansion and all this, and you want to get. She's like, you got your priorities completely backwards. You want to get a mansion, you want to do all that, but you ain't right, brother. I was
Mm.
like, oh shit. I was like, yo,
I like my boy Aries. Some people had a
I
little
like
grudge against
Aries
him.
too, but I think I like this sister too. I forget her name, Deborah Wilson or something. I forget her name. But she was Mad TV back when Mad TV was competing with Saturday Night Live. They were trying. They were kept up for a little while, but
Brother said he was spiritually bankrupt. But no, brother, I ain't gonna hold you if you gotta get it to work. I had to chime in though. I said, no, we ain't did this little live for a while. And
right, right, right.
I see the other young sister, what's her name? The sister that Mara wore Mouth's daughter. Yeah, she just said that she's probably gonna go into some more cult type talk and all that too. So look, you might as
What
well go ahead.
what's her name?
The young sister that just did the show, she grew up in the cult. Ma War
Oh,
Mafia's daughter. Where he said, "They don't stop calling me that sister."
right, right, right.
Yeah, she said she's gonna
What
go
she
into
say
some
they
more
don't stop
cult
calling?
talk.
What did she say they don't stop calling her?
No, her you remember her father, he's like a chief priest or something like that. She had been speaking against the church, and
Yeah.
he had told her to stop calling him.
Oh, right, 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 right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you would see that, but she said she's gonna start doing some more
That's crazy as fuck.
speakings on some of the stuff.
Don't talk to me no more. That's crazy.
Yeah, we have to see. Like I said, it's kind of been redundant in that whole BHI community, though. It's really the same old stuff. You just get wind of some new crazy shit they doing every now and then, but it really doesn't even surprise you no more. It's like
Hmm.
these dudes are running out of gimmicks. All right, let's just spray each other with hot mace in the face now and see who makes 13 Shield General now. Off that, it's like okay, that's preparing you spiritually for what right there. What what's to come? You're looking at IUIC. That's what that was. They seen IUIC and they said, "No, we getting our men ready for that. They'll be able to withstand mace and tear gas and all that, and still be
Yeah,
speaking. Give me that scripture, brother." As they get damn hit with
right.
rubber bullets and all that. See that's what they traded them
Yeah.
for.
I
It
gotta,
makes
I gotta put
sense.
a whole video together of Hebrew Israelites getting urine and tear gas in Africa and getting their boots licked and kissed in America
No,
by white.
and include that the pepper
They get
spray.
their
Like they're
boots licked and
preparing.
they get their boots licked and kissed by soft ass progressive white males
Man, I
that
think
remember
they
their
even had someone's kids kissing their boots.
and they'd be like, I'm a feminist and I care about black people. I'm gonna kiss your boots, you fucking these
But in
motherfuckers. And these are the people that they say the scripture says that the sons of kings shall come bowing down to you. These are the sons of people that work at Publix and shit. Like these aren't
thank
the
you,
sons of kings. You got
thank you,
nobody. You got to fucking. I wouldn't want these niggas to kick. Get the fuck off my boots. You don't
thank you.
deserve to kiss my boots. These niggas are disgusting. This is some nasty fucking fetish. I'm not surprised they like to get pegged. Fucking that nigga. That's yo. That's Gorilla Hebrew's new name is Peg Bundy.
You're
Peg
not
Bundy.
letting it slide.
That's crazy.
Right there.
But these cats are preparing for I don't know, man. the war is like it's like this is a false flag, man. It's a
Yeah,
false fear mongering. You know, you're getting fear mongered into something that it's like you're getting all hyped up for nothing. Like relax, you're gonna be
yeah.
okay right now. You just chill. You know, you some of these motherfuckers are chilling, living in Connecticut and shit. Like you have
I'm telling
nothing to
you,
worry about. Like you have zero crime in fucking Connecticut. You're chilling. Relax.
I keep telling people, time works against these dudes because all these dudes is expecting this interference in their lifetime. It's any day, know it this year, know it, look at
Hmm.
Iran, know it, look at China. And then there's everything just, you see if this is like a damn weather
Yeah.
pattern with
And they're
these
doing that. They're
countries
doing
getting
that now.
into it.
They're doing that now with Trump. They're fear mongering. Oh, with the economy, we don't know what's gonna happen to Trump. Yo, it's on fucking level 10 right now. It's
Yep.
crazy.
I,
No,
I,
Elon
I,
Musk.
brother,
Elon Musk is the new enemy now. All of a
I
sudden, we
already
gotta
know.
hate Elon Musk, man. We gotta hate Elon Musk for some reason. Yo, Teslas are getting scratched up. They're putting gum in the keyholes and shit. It's crazy.
Let's see what the hell I had.
But it's gonna cut off any minute. I'm just gonna ride it out till it cuts off, I guess.
I got to see, like, hold
I
on.
feel
My
like
stuff,
coming
damn.
on and just charging my
I'm
shit.
damn showing all the crib. Hold on.
I need one of those
There
portable
we go.
chargers. I need one of those portable chargers and shit.
Yeah, that's what you need. I got my stuff charging the wall right now. But no, that's all that is. That's why I say time is working against them dudes. Because eventually you come to the conclusion where the brain is powerful. It eventually resets itself. When you're dang 20 years down the line and you're just looking like, hold on, man. There's just things we were saying that don't match prophecy now. Do I just keep on riding this thing out? Or do I really got to realize, damn, it's been 20, 30 years. And I really got to come to the conclusion this shit was all damn a farce right here. The leader done died, and damn, half of this stuff didn't come to pass. They done made peace with these two countries here and all that. It's like, what are you really going to do then?
And
You eventually got to come to grip with
ISUPK,
reality one day.
ISUPK and Sakari was set up to go the long haul, you know, because these leaders are still pretty young. But because this Tazaryak is there, you know, Johanna's gonna die probably in the next 10 years. He don't look too healthy. Yeah, he's definitely obese, and he got all types of chronic condition. He's gonna have to do 3 month fucking hospital. He's gonna have to do 3 month primary care provider visits pretty soon. You know, just to keep his insurance intact and shit,
Yeah,
so he can
and
stay on his chronic management plans and shit with Humana.
no, none of their top generals really are that healthy. When you look at Hyman and all them dudes, is all they're just like we was getting in the ICJC. You sitting there eating all these junk foods and damn triple
But
bypass burgers
these
and shits.
these people push you past your bodily limits,
Yep.
past reality. Why are you
Thank you.